Hi, everybody. We are in actually Eagle's Nest near Angel Fire, New Mexico, and the beautiful Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Angel Fire, New Mexico. And representing flags of honor, we have the three of us, these two beautiful ladies. Please introduce yourself and where you're from.
My name is Audrey Megan. I live in Southern California in Claremont, and I ride Run for the Wall Central Route.
Hi, Jerry Hungiva. I'm Jerry Hungiva from Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm with Navajo Hopi Honor Riders and also the guardian for the Kotaker flag.
And I'm Mary Pittman. I ride Flags of Honor as we mutually share, and then also Sandbox route for Run for the Wall and some other missions as well. Flags of Honor is a new organization. We came about in May as a cross-country mission, running flags from the Los Angeles area to Washington, D.C. in two different escorts, the For the Fallen escort and the Remembrance escort, and we are three of the original riders for that, which is amazing. And then an additional escort, Tip of the Spear, that went from Washington, D.C. to Marseille, Illinois to the Middle East Conflicts Wall. And so those two flags are now still in motion, the For the Fallen flag and the Remembrance Escort flag. And the third flag from that mission is also going to go on and tell a story. But now there are new flags that have been put into play so that they can tell the story across the U.S. for veterans and their supporters, patriots, and we can support other missions across the country. And so we have been honored to be issued three flags that we are the guardians each for, and they will be in our custody and also given to other people for missions as deems appropriate, right? And so Audrey has.
The Freedom Flag.
And where have you been with the Freedom Flag already?
I launched the Freedom Flag at a military memorial in a city, Glendora, which is right next to where I live. And the reason that I launched the flag there is a Gold Star family that I'm friends with. Their son was killed in action in 2012, November 10th, and his name is on that wall. He grew up in Glendora, and so I chose to launch the flag there. I have gone to some local places, but I traveled from Southern California to Angel Fire, New Mexico with the flag. I got it about a week ago, so just a couple thousand, a little over 1,000 miles with that flag so far.
And I do know that that flag stopped at the 9/11 Memorial in Winslow, Arizona, where there's pieces of the beams there. That was awesome. And we saw your pictures. You guys were right behind us at the same memorial. A couple hours behind us, like right behind us. So we know that all three of these flags have been here. And then tell us about your flag.
Okay, so my Kotaker flag arrived about 10 days ago, and it joined us for the 18th annual Lori Payeswa Navajo Hopi Honor Ride, which was from Windrock to Flagstaff. And this arrived. Miss Lori Payeswa, U.S. Army. She was the first Native American to be killed in action, first Native American female to be killed in action in 2003, March 2003. So since then, we've been riding in honor of her, as well as 14 more Gold Star families between Navajo and Hopi tribe. I am with Navajo Hopi Honor Riders, and this flag has also been to the highest place in the United States, Pikes Peak at 14,115 feet, which was last weekend. I rode with two of the gentlemen from Nation of Patriots. It was also at Williams, Arizona for the fundraising Nation of Patriots, and also went to Winslow.
Yes.
2 hours behind you guys. And then today I went to the Santa Fe National Veterans Memorial Cemetery there. I was able to place it near a couple of the Kotakers' burial site, and Joe Vanderveer was my clan brother. It's very emotional for me to stop there for him, because him and I were the same clan, and he's my brother by clanship that way. Navajo way, what we have a clans, 4 clans that identify where we're from, who we're related to. We may not never meet that person, but if you are the same clan, you are instant brother and sister. So today I made a special stop for him, and also here at the Vietnam Veteran Memorial here in Angel Fire, placed it near Lori Payeswa's name, sent a picture to her mother, and I also was able to burn some sweetgrass for her, because sweetgrass in our culture is a positive and cleansing way of actually remembering that person and also saying their name out loud. So thank you.
I love that. And do you have any upcoming missions that you know of, or thoughts where you want to take the Code Talker flag?
We do have a Gold Star family event in Window Rock, which is September, the last Sunday, later this month. So we will have the flag there with us. It has been part of 3 funeral escorts so far for our Native American veterans between Tuba City, Gallup, Fort Defiance, and Belmont. So the flag so far has traveled over 5,000 miles in the past less than 2 weeks that I've had it. But that's basically because I hand it off to other riders.
Yes.
I do ride a lot of miles, but I hand it off to other riders, and they take it where it needs to go.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you for that. That's amazing. I'm so excited to learn this stuff from you ladies. And then, may I share about mine real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so mine is codename Valor, and you get choked up already. I named this flag. And this flag is hopefully is going to have a little bit of a unique mission in that not only is it going to honor our American military and veterans, but with a little bit of crossover to first responders. In my friendships and relationships and community work and charity work, what I've noticed is so many military veterans are either concurrent or second career as a first responder. So they not only serve their nation, they serve their communities, whether they're fire, EMT, first responder, whatever the case may be. And so valor is a word that kind of exemplifies for me both of those communities. We have the Medal of Honor for our military community, and so that of course is based on acts of valor and bravery. And then there's also valor medals within the first responder community. And so there's a quote that I love, and it says, "In valor there is hope." And for me, in my thought process with thinking about the freedoms that we enjoy in our country and how much bloodshed was fought for and bloodshed for those freedoms, you can't ultimately have freedom without valor. There's acts of valor in there somewhere. And acts of valor can come from the civilian community as well, also, obviously. But in this instance, where I'm kind of thinking about it a little bit more in the first responder and military community and kind of tying those together, valor has some history already in a couple of states in Mississippi and Louisiana, and came to me just 4 days ago. And since then has been through Southern California, Arizona, the 9/11 Memorial in Winslow, and here to Angel Fire, New Mexico, and some other things that we photographed along the way. So since in my possession, I think I tallied a little bit earlier today about 1,300 miles in the last few days, because we came all the way up here for this event. Something that I would like to touch on for everyone to know is in our different community charity rides that we do and organizations that we're a part of. I'll speak for myself. I don't know if you ladies get this, but I often get asked if I'm a veteran myself. And I say, no, I'm not. I'm just privileged to be associated with a lot of amazing veterans, my family members, but also I'm just a patriotic civilian who wants to support our military members. And so what is important for me to tell people about the organizations that I'm associated with is that you don't have to be a veteran to ride and to come and support and be with our organizations. We anybody who loves their freedom can come be a part of our organizations. And so that's speaking for the organizations that I'm a part of. And you ladies, do you get that comment or question as well? Are you a veteran? Do you have to be a veteran to ride with Navajo Hopi Rider?
I get it a lot.
Right.
From my community, because Navajo and Hopi is very small, that even though we're a large land base in 3 different states, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, people ask me, and my dad was a Vietnam veteran, so I've been a heavy supporter since, I would say probably my 20s. And growing up, my dad didn't announce he was a Vietnam veteran. He was very quiet about it and didn't talk about it much at all. So, and I'm the only girl, I'm the oldest daughter, so I was definitely daddy's girl. And the moment that he got sick with Agent Orange, I felt like 2 years of my time I just dedicated to him. But I also realized in that time that there's a lot of veterans out there who need help figuring out their benefits, how to get help, medical and assistance if they are running into problems. And I was really there for him to get him through all of his cancer and chemo treatments, but really getting the benefits started. So that was my passion. And especially on the reservation, there isn't a place, there's no office, and you've got a little way drive to Phoenix or Albuquerque just to get help. So since I'm knowledgeable on how to help veterans in our areas, I just kind of became passionate working with other veterans.
Sure.
And
advocating for
exactly,
their, yes.
because it is a tedious process.
It is, yes.
But if someone doesn't have internet and they can't get online, they don't have a printer, those are the veterans that we're helping on the reservation, so that we can at least point them in the right direction, so they can use their benefits to the fullest that they've earned.
Yes.
So in that way, and also most of our veterans they speak Navajo. That's their first language.
Yes.
They can't go to an office and try to speak English with someone behind a desk. So it's really easy for me to speak Navajo, which is my first language, with them and get them assistance that they need.
Yeah.
They are grateful for that because they're trying to explain what they need, but English is not their first language. So most of the times, we get people in our organization that just want to help, and they'll be chase crew, or they'll be part of the volunteer tables, they'll be part of registration, or maybe cooking, setting up food. And most of the time on our emails, we're getting constant questions about how can I help, what can I do.
Right.
On the Navajo Hopi On Riders Facebook, we have 14,000 likes, but typically in a month we can probably reach out to about 125,000 people that ask us and interact on Facebook. So because the Navajo Nation is so big and we're in 4 states, I feel like the following is very heavy, but majority of the people aren't veterans.
Right.
They want to help,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that a lot myself in my communities. And what about you? Do you get asked if you're a veteran? How do you answer that? And the organizations that you're a part of, can Civlian Patriots come and be a part of them? Or do you have to be a veteran? Obviously not, because you're not a veteran, right?
No, I do get asked a lot. I feel like I just look tough, so I take that as a compliment.
I love that.
No, I think with Run for the Wall, with the Run for the Wall family, a lot of people will ask that, because a lot of our riders are veterans, and and I respond, no, thank you. My dad and my stepdad both served in Vietnam. My dad was a Navy Seabee, my stepdad a Navy SEAL, and I ride with my stepdad and my mom on Run for the Wall, and my stepdad carries my mom as passenger. And Run for the Wall has really gotten me involved in the veteran community and veteran affairs. Both my grandfathers served during World War II, and growing up in Southern California, it wasn't really part of how I grew up in my community, as far as talking about military and about my dad's service. And also I knew my dad served in Vietnam, but he really didn't talk about it. And I knew my dad was a CB, and that's construction battalion. And I just had this thought in my mind. My dad, as far as for his career, was in construction and education. And so I just kind of thought that my dad served in Vietnam and like built stuff and didn't see any action, and that was not the case at all. And so it's really brought. I grew up very close with my dad, but my dad and I talk a lot about just not specifically about his military career, but he's much more open about serving in Vietnam and about just service in general. And so it's really, my dad is very proud of what I have been doing over the last few years and getting involved in veteran community. And I just kind of wish that I grew up in Southern California with just a little bit more knowledge about the military. About when I was in high school, it was kind of like, if you got good grades, you went to college. It wasn't like you got good grades, you'd go into the military and have a career in it. And so, I think if I just had different knowledge growing up about our military, maybe I would have taken a different, career. Maybe that would have been something that I would have thought about. So. A lot of people ask, and I say no, but especially for Run for the Ball, anyone could ride with us, and you don't have to have any background in it. You don't have to have served. We encourage people that have not served to just get involved and reach out to their family members, to their community, to just get involved any way they can.
Sure. Thanks. That's awesome. Same for me. Basically, we're connected that all of our fathers are Vietnam veterans. Mine is what we refer to on Sandbox as a wall-to-wall veteran. My dad served from the Vietnam War to the Persian Gulf War, 30 years, and retired from the Navy after 30 years. So unlike you ladies who might not have heard from your dads about their Vietnam service if they didn't have an extended career, I grew up with my dad still serving and deploying in the military in the Persian Gulf War. So I was pretty knowledgeable that he served, but not about what he did, because my dad was in submarines. So that's silent service, so I'll probably never know what he did. I was introduced to Run for the Wall and came into that part of the motorcycle community, military-centric stuff because of my dad. He was a Run for the Wall rider as well. But before that, I had been doing all kinds of other community charity type events. And so, same question, are you a veteran? No, and it's just I talk about my dad, my brothers, my husband, other friends that have served, and that I'm just surrounded with. I say I'm just surrounded with greatness, and I just want to give back as much as I can. I'm very grateful that the organizations that obviously we're associated with as civilians are very welcoming to civilians. You're not really treated differently because you're a civilian. And I was talking to a military veteran friend of mine the other night about us ladies getting together and being Patriot civilians and carrying this particular mission and the other missions that we do individually. And that veteran said to me something that I thought was really important. Again, relay it without getting misty up here a little bit, is what a lot of people don't realize is that when those soldiers or sailors or airmen deploy, especially in combat situations or in combat deployments for the Navy warship, is that their support at home is everything. It's the family and the civilian support or great friendships that they have left behind at home. And if the family is in disarray at home, that person can't really focus on the task at hand that they need to be doing there, and that they want something potentially to return home to. Don't we know the romanticized stories of World War II and other wars where they have the picture of their sweetheart in their helmet, or somewhere else, something to come home to, something to fight for, and so I thought it was very sweetly relayed by my veteran friend that that support at home is everything, which is why we're grateful for now the continued, public support. And thankfully now in the era that we're in now, our veterans are being welcomed home from deployments and thanked about their service in a different way than those Vietnam veterans are. We're never going to repeat that mistake. Never, as the patches say, never again will one generation of veterans be dishonored by another, right? So, and so for kind of what you ladies were touching on, like a lot of times the community just wants to know how they can help. So the more that they know about other organizations, which hopefully Flags of Honor is doing, because we as Flags of Honor are going to support other missions and organizations and put a spotlight on them. And so people can go join their websites or their pages or look them up or donate or ride with them or whatever, then the more those organizations gain traction and other Patriot civilians have an option to serve and say thank you. Does that sound about right? Okay, cool. How about anything that you would, either of you ladies, would like to see Flags of Honor really break out to? How would you like to see it help communities, or what have you seen it done already? Since we already went cross country together, we were some of the original founding riders. I mean, what have you already seen it do, or what are you hoping to see Flags of Honor do? How these flags touch people's hearts? How?
So, in my experience, just having the flag with me on 4 states that it's been to, that I've taken it, people have such a strong reaction when they see the flag. And I know, different places we've had it out, if we're eating at a table and it's sitting there with us, or if I'm taking it out of my bike, and, once they see it, the expression on their face is completely changed. They smile, their eyes perk up, their whole emotion is very positive, and you can tell that they're emotionally touched just to see the flag. And then I asked them, would you like to hold it and get your picture taken? And they get really excited, and they signed the logbook, and different messages that they're writing is amazing, because people are super grateful, but it's an instant connection that you have with someone who's definitely a stranger.
Yes.
And then you start talking, and you always find out that they have military family members, an uncle, an aunt, a grandma, someone. So they always would say, I want to write this for this person in my family. So I think that the flag is a symbol and an object of love that I've seen. Once you give it to someone, it's like they feel so privileged that they held it. Then they give it back to you, and they're like a baby.
Yes.
They're so gentle with it.
Yes.
It's just kind of really, it tugs at my heart, because that's what I want it to happen.
Yes.
Because we get so many bad news every day in the media, especially with COVID going on, that I feel like there needs to be some unity, something that brings people back together, and at least establish those feelings that you do have as great Americans.
Yeah. And how about you? What had you seen going across country on Flags of Honor in May, or what have you seen since you've been hearing freedom? Like a story or someone it touched, or something unexpected, or with you, or somebody that you handed it off to, or?
The importance is, I think, just sharing of stories. That it opens up the door to talk to another person about their experiences, and that happens on social media too. So being able to have these flags on social media and so many people viewing it, it brings up stories of of someone's family member or a friend, and until you start talking to people, you don't know that how someone's been affected. And our missions in Flags of Honor, that some of the important parts are 22 a day is a really important mission for us. 22 veterans a day commit suicide, succumb to suicide, and it's a huge problem right now with our young people that are serving. A lot of people are getting deployed 2-3 times to Iraq, Afghanistan, and they come back and they don't know quite where they fit into their community. They don't have outlets that they know of where they can reach out and get the help that they need. So the 22 a day are wounded in action as well. People come back wounded. We have IEDs are are very prevalent in our wars, and people are experiencing, you know, explosions, and our medical technology is so advanced that a lot of people, you know, that are affected will come back with PTSD because of, you know, the massive amounts of concussions they're getting, or they are wounded, they're losing limbs. So, you know, they not only come back wounded, they are very susceptible to succumbing to suicide. And then ongoing POWs, missing in action, have been a big part since Vietnam. That, you know, we need to account for everyone that that has not been brought back home, and then of course honoring our killed in action. So it's very interesting to talk to people, and you find out that someone you've known for a very long time is maybe a Gold Star family. They have lost a parent, a brother or sister, a son or daughter, or they have a family member that has succumbed to suicide, and people are very kind of hush hush about a family member that has succumbed to suicide, like it's something that that it's not honorable. And so spreading that message that we really need to talk to each other and, you know, just open the door for conversation. And so I feel like these flags, you know, really help us talk to people, and then put it on social media so that people aren't scared to tell their story, or not even scared that it's not important, you know.
That's that people think that what they have to say is not important, or that it doesn't interest anyone, or that it's long forgotten, and what, you know, but it is. People do want to know and honor that story or understand that story. Yeah, you hit that one square. Absolutely. How about anything that you all have learned in being Civlian Patriots, or that you know within your organizations that you wish more people would know in general? For example, code talker, and the phrase Navajo code talkers, which we hear most often. So can you give us some education on?
Yeah, so of course the Navajo code talkers are famous for the way the language was used in World War II, the United States Marine Corps. But there have been 14 other tribes starting in World War I. The Choctaw and Cheyenne were where the U.S. Army had used the Cheyenne Choctaw to do some code talking. It just never was in effect, but it was established a little bit. And of course, our neighboring tribe, Hopi, they also had code talkers in their tribe. I believe they had 14. It might be 13 or 14. Not very many, as opposed to Navajo code talkers having almost 300. The original 29 code talkers have passed years back, but we do have 5 remaining that are in their 90s. They're tough men.
Yes.
I've seen I've seen one code talker, Peter McDonald, out to the city last month, and he still is walking fine with not even a cane, you know, just a little bit of a slow walk, but he's in his 90s, and it's amazing to see them be so strong, you know, and so proud for this. But yeah, Navajo code talkers by far are, you know, famous for what they did in World War II.
Sure.
And of course, you know, when I talk about it, people already know. When we say this is the code talker flag,
Yes.
the average American out there already know a little piece of what happened in our history. And I think that they always have something to say about it. They'll say thank you, or they'll ask me, oh, are you Navajo? Are you from the Navajo tribe? And, you know, they want to know a little bit more about our language. So it always brings a conversation of great American stories, but I always use it as an educational tool, because people want to learn more about my tribe. People want to learn more about my language. And this is a language that's still very strong and written. You know, we are the largest tribe, and we have movies out there. We have motion movies, Lucasfilm's Navajo Star Wars was recently translated into Navajo.
We're a Star Wars family at home, so I did see that news.
You'll like this. I do the voice of C-3PO.
What?
Yeah. So I'm surprised you didn't know that.
Hold on. Okay, after we get done with this interview.
different
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
So,
I am girl crushing now.
Well, now everybody's gonna know. Yeah. So anyway, talk about language preservation. It's a big deal, but it's also something for our youth to be very proud of. Like my kids and my future grandkids, I hope.
Yeah.
These are things that we hold sacred to our
Sure.
hearts. This is our root. Our roots go deep. And as far as Native American community, the Code Talker flag does unite us. Maybe not just my tribe, but all of us.
Yeah. And what have you, as a child of military veterans, being a patriot, serving military community through your organizations, equestrian background, like what have you learned, or what's like the little known fact that you wish the public knew about anything you've been involved with or learned, or misconceptions, or do you want to think about it for a minute?
Yeah, I guess, Run for the Wall has really exposed me to a lot of memorials. We have memorials all over the place, and, if you just kind of have your eye out for them, there's memorials on highways, there's, from every war, there's a memorial in every
Tiny
city,
towns, yeah.
every other city. And these places are just really fascinating to drive down the road, and you'll find a monument in a city, and it'll have a plaque, and it will say that a Medal of Honor recipient from this town, and it will tell the story of the Medal of Honor recipient, or the people of that community, how many people have been killed in action. I went in Paso Robles, California. I recently went to a friend's memorial, and it was a friend that I met years ago on the road who kind of rescued one of our riders, and we became friends with this husband and wife kind of randomly, and they are motorcycle riders as well, and equestrians. And the memorial that we went to in Atascadero in the central coast of California, they had this beautiful military memorial, and it had everyone that had been killed in action from World War II, World War I, World War II, Korean War, from Vietnam, from more recent wars, and it's just fascinating to visit these memorials and see how the communities honor their people, and just kind of read about it. And so that's been something that I didn't grow up seeing memorials or driving. That wasn't a stop that my family did. But now it's like, let's go visit this memorial and see what
detour.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, that's a good point, because same thing. We didn't grow up detoured. Let's go to but now as an adult,